system demo. This is a presentation for troop leaders and other parties that are interested in seeing the new camp reservation system, the updated version. I am joined tonight by Beth Hoff, who is our Camp Guru registration representative, and she can say hi. Hi, Beth.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And obviously you know who I am, so we're just going to dive right in. We are going to be recording this webinar so that troop leaders who weren't able to make the call can join in later and catch it on the website later. So it is going to be recorded, so if you want to refer back to it, you're more than welcome. If you want to share it, you're more than welcome to do that. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them into the question log, or you can raise your hand and we will unmute you so that you can ask it out loud, which we do love to have people participate like that. So I encourage you to take questions. We've done this demonstration for service unit directors and camp coaches, and it's taken about a half an hour. But you know, if we have questions, it may take the full hour. So there's plenty of times for questions. So if you have a question, please ask it. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. So very exciting. We have heard all of the feedback and requests from our troop leaders about our reservation and registration systems for programs, events, and camp. And we have listened, and we are making improvements. The first improvement actually starts with our reservations, which is for campsites, and that begins on June 1st. So when you log in to register for a campsite on June 1st, you will see all of the new improvements that I'm going to highlight today. They will be live and in action. The good thing to remember is that all of your current camp reservations have been moved over and are part of the improvement. So you don't have to worry that something dropped off or that it didn't get carried over. It has. So campsite reservations goes live on June 1st. And then following that, on August 3rd, event registrations for programs, training, special events, all of that will go live on August 3rd. And the two systems are together and they talk to each other, and we'll see some exciting things that happen when both systems are up and running and live. We do want to just highlight a term that we are using. So we are using reservations for when you go in and you rent campsites or camp equipment. Those are reservations. When you do a program or a training, that is a registration for an event. So we just want to highlight those terms that we're going to be using as we talk about the various systems. So troop campouts, this is for all GSNEO properties. If you are planning to camp at Ledgewood, Timberlane, Sugarbush, as well as the Inner Grove cabin, you can do so using this system. Camp reservations open approximately 3 months or 90 days in advance at 6 a.m. And that is going to be consistent. That has not changed. It's 6 a.m. It's going to stay 6 a.m. The 3 months rule we're going to talk about in a little bit, because it's not actually 3 months anymore. It's 90 days, and it's a rolling 90 days. So we're going to talk about that. Again, troops pay 100% of the fees at the time of reservation. So you are going to be able to book multiple sites at one time and book additional activities, if you wish, at one time, but 100% of the fees are due at time of reservation. And as always, refunds or cancellations are only given if the site is re-rented. So if you cancel 2 weeks before your camp out and we are not able to re-rent the site, there will not be a refund. And that is not a change. That has been the policy. Oh, sorry. Service units also can request and do reservations for campouts. So I do want to go over this real quick. Service units, because they are usually booking for a much larger group, some service units actually take the entire camp or a large number of sites, they actually can book 6 months in advance. And remember, when it's a service unit campout, it is involving troops and girls. So it's still use of the property for girls and Girl Scouting and the Girl Scouting program, but we do give them a 6-month or 180-day lookout and ability to make reservations. To be a service unit campout, it must include participants from 5 or more troops. So a service unit lead director cannot just say that she's doing a service unit campout and take her troop camping. It must include participants from 5 or more troops. And we encourage them, and we do actually enforce that. So we are looking at that and making sure that that does happen. If you have a large service unit or a group that wants to go together, I encourage you to invite 5 or more troops and talk to your service unit director, and you too can do the camp reservations at the 6-month lookout, because it would be considered a service unit campout. Okay. Service units pay 50% of their fees at the time of reservation, and the balance is due 30 days prior to the date of the event. And that's, again, because they have a much larger event, usually, is what they're planning. So if you're renting half the camp, they pay 50% of it up front, and then the other 50% a month before the event. Same refund and cancellation policy. So we will not refund a site if they are unable to use one of their sites and they wait till a month before and we're not able to rerun it. We do not refund that. Service unit directors will be sent login credentials, and they're the only ones that can go in and book a service unit campout. Not anyone can do that. It has to be a service unit director. Okay. So how do you go in and register for camp? Make a reservation for camp. So you would go into the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio website, www.gsneo.org, and you would click on the camp button up at the top, and it's going to take you to this picture of these wonderful girls having a lot of fun outside, and you're going to click on the link here that says reserve a campsite. And when you do that, it's going to take you to a calendar, thing that will look something like this. A page that will look a little bit like this. And you can choose at the top which property you want to look at. So do you want to look at Timberlane? Do you want to look at Sugarbush? Do you want to look at Inner Grove? Do you want to look at Ledgewood? So you have an option of which one you want to pick and which calendar you're going to see. So in this particular instance, we're going to pick Ledgewood. And then we have to pick our category. So the category is the type of site or the type of reservation you would like to make. So do you want to stay in a cabin? Do you want to do an Adirondack? Do you want to do something that is day use only? Do you want to do platform tents, primitive? You choose what you want to do here, and that's what you're going to select first and foremost. So you select the property you want to be at, and then you're going to select the type of unit that you would like to have. Okay. So just as you're aware, because we're talking about calendars here, that again, camp reservations are approximately 3 months, 90 days in advance at 6 a.m. So in the past, campsites became available the first of the month for the entire month. So if you were saying that you were going to look on February 1st, that would give you the entire camp for March, April, and May. So you'd be able to see all of those months. Now, when you go in, you are going to you can see 90 days, and it's a true 90 days. So you would do a calendar view, and those count 90 days, and that's what you're going to be able to see. Pardon? And that includes weekends. So if, example, that we knew that we wanted to make some sort of reservation on, say, September 18th, we need to count back 90 days from September 18th to find out exactly when that property would open. And remember that if you look on the 18th and you want to book both the 18th and the 19th of September, which is a Friday, Saturday, you're going to have to look for either both those days. So you're going to have to go 90 days from the latest date. Okay? So it is a rolling calendar. And again, service units have and it's not 6 months, it's approximately 6 months, but it's 180 days in advance. Okay? All right. So now that we've done that, I know that I can actually book for the month of July, and I am going to click on a duration. So I need to make sure that I want to do a 2-night stay. So I'm going to click on a duration that says 2 nights, and then I can start to look and see what's available. So if I now then click on a particular camp and it says more, if I click on that, I can get information about that particular site. And we worked very hard to update these pieces so you can see multiple pictures of a particular site, get information about that particular site. And if you continue to scroll down the page, this information comes up and it talks about what amenities are available. So it talks about capacity, it talks about what's in the building, and what is there. So each of the sites will have a page like this, and you can actually do a slideshow. So if your girls or your parents want to see where they're going to be staying ahead of time, they can do that, and it's a very complete information about the site. Okay. So now I've decided, yep, I want Cotter A and B. Those are the sites that I want. So I can click on Cotter A. Okay, I can click on Cotter B, or I can do one because I want to do them together, and you can see that Cotter A and B are together. So you can actually choose that. And as I choose them, I can see that they pop over here on the right-hand side where it has my reservations. And you can see that there are 2 nights. I do have my duration is 2 nights. So you are going to see that both nights are showing up here. If I had selected 1 night, it would only say 7-3 to 7-4. Okay? So then I decide that not only do I want to do a cabin overnight, I also want to do some equipment and program areas. So I'm going to look at that and see what's available. So once I click on equipment and program areas, I actually want to change my day to Saturday because I want to do the equipment rental on Saturday the 4th. So I'm going to look at this and I can decide if I want to do archery, if I want to do canoes, I want to do kayaks. Well, my troop wants to do it all. So we have decided that we are going to do archery in the morning. So that's session 1 from 9 to noon. And it'll tell me that there is a facilitator required. We're actually going to do low ropes from 1 until 4. And we're going to do canoes from 5 until 8. And it tells me exactly that there's a facilitator required. There's 8 boats and 2 people each. Okay? So I know that's big enough for me, and I can move forward. Okay? I also want to do another activity, and I'm going to change my date to Sunday because we ran out of time on Saturday. So I changed it to Sunday, and I'm also going to rent the GPS equipment on Sunday. And you can see that. So the nice thing about the system is it allows you to have multiple items and check them all at once and do all of your items at one time, and so you don't have to pick and choose and come back. So then we're going to check out, and it's going to take you to this screen. And there's only one selection, but you do have to make the selection, and it's GSNEO unit or member group. This is a feature that at some point in time there might be different pricing options, but at this point in time we don't have that. So you just go ahead.
Let's talk about the thermometer.
Okay. This is your thermometer up here at the top, basically. It shows you your progress. Excuse me. So as you go through, you're going to, and you have to make sure all of these blocks and their arrows light up. And as you go through and hit all of the screens to finalize your order, they will light up. So this is your thermometer here at the top. Okay. So we're going to go next. So we're going to see here now that we're on our group. So we're picking our group up. And because I've been in here before, and my little test subject here, my test person, is named Gidget Kohler, which is actually my 4-legged furry baby at home. But Gidget has a troop, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she wants to go out and do this camp out. So here we are moving forward. Excuse me. So we are going to continue. I'm going to select that group so I can come in here. And now it's going to, it's going to ask Gidget some information. So here is, if I haven't filled this out before, it's going to ask me to fill this information out. If I've been on the system before, it remembers me, and it's going to allow me to fill in this information. At this point in time, too, after you select the checkout button for your camp, it is going to make you register and log into the system. So what we recommend is, we know that having multiple user IDs can be very, very frustrating, and trying to remember passwords is very, very frustrating. So what we are recommending is that you try to standardize them across all of your systems. So the standard for your membership credentials and login is your email address, and then your password can be the same on all the systems. So if you use one password, you can make that standard, and if you use your email address, that makes it kind of standard, so you can just remember everything Girl Scouts is your email address and your then your standardized password. You are going to have to create a new username and password for the system the very first time you use it. but after that it will remember you. So unfortunately, when we reset the system and we've added all these improvements, we couldn't carry over the information from the old system. So we are starting fresh, and you do have to create a login information for this system, as well as like the membership credential system, which is sort of new. Okay, so it is going to ask you to fill this information out, but again, it will remember you. It also asks at this point in time who your outdoor trained person is, when their certificate date is, who your first aid volunteer is, your expiration, your emergency contact, who is somebody who will not be attending the camp out, who is staying at home. So you have to fill out all of this information to move forward. So here we are. We filled out all that information, and we're going to continue. And now at this point, it's going to start me off at my first site, and it's going to ask me who's going, right? And it wants us to fill in the information, the first name and last name. So we're going to start to create our rosters for our site. Now, I know at 3 months out, you may not know who that site is. So you may want to just put in maybe the bare minimum. We know for sure I've got 2 troop leaders that are going, and I know for sure that 5 of the girls will be going. They've already committed and said they will be there. So I can go in and I can add those names of those girls. These are the participants. So I've done that, and you can see it kind of keeps a running total in my shopping cart. So here's Cotter A. I've already added my people, and it's keeping track of them. There is no price per person, since it's just priced by the site. But now it tells me that before I can move on and check out, there are additional things that need to be fixed. So Cotter B, I need to complete more information. Then I have to complete more information for archery, canoes, and low ropes as well. So we're just going to keep on, and I can click on the Fix It button to go into Cotter B. So now I can go into Cotter B, and I can actually add some information as well. So it's going to ask me the same thing. So here's my people. But I wanted to show you that it has this feature as well. You can go in, and if you've registered your girls once before, it'll remember them. So it'll include them as part of your group, and you can then select them for the camp out, or you select them to add to your roster. So you can pick and choose who you want to add. And as you use a person, they come off the list. So it will remember your girls. You can actually go in and manage your group in your summary, which I'll show you later. But it'll make it a lot easier because you're not going to have to type the girl's name in over and over and over again. It'll remember all of that.
It also will remember when we come to the next step.
Yes. So then once we move into event registrations for programs, trainings, other activities, it will remember them as well for that. So again, the system will talk to each other, and you will be able to, have the same group of girls, the same group of adults. As long as you put them in once, it will remember them for all of your future reservation and registration needs. Okay. All right. So now I've put in a few people here for Cotter B as well. I added a few of those. I'm still not sure who was all coming, but that's okay. I went in and did archery, but now I got to go do canoes, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like. It shows that here's the canoe session. It says a facilitator is required because I am, borrowing the boats, and I do have to have somebody who is certified. And it tells me that there is, and I have to put in the name of the facilitator. Again, at 3 months out, I might not know who that person is. I maybe have a couple calls out. I was waiting to find out if my weekend was available. So what I'm going to do is when I first make the reservation, I can put in to be determined, and I can fill in that information. I do have to agree to the terms, and I can continue. The nice thing is that we will be able to come back and fix this information. So I'll show you how to do that. So here now I can go ahead and check out. It does accept credit cards. So it accepts all the major credit cards, and you can put in this information. So we are letting everybody know that some of the payment options that we have used in the past are not available. So be aware of that. We are encouraging anybody that has a Troop bank account, they should be requesting a Troop debit credit card for their with their bank account so that they can use that as they move forward with reservation and registration. Okay. You will notice that there is a discount that applies here, and you can see that here. It actually was on the other summary as well. And what that is we have pricing that is set up as peak times, normal camping season, and then off season. So all of them are set at the highest peak time, but if you camp in a time frame that's one of those other levels, it'll discount that price for you automatically, okay? So you'll see that come in off as the discount. Okay? So you can put in your information and make a payment. Okay? And as I said before, troops and service units without a debit card should request them from their bank. Again, you have time. It shouldn't take more than a couple weeks to make that happen. If you encounter any problems with the bank giving you a difficult time about getting a check or debit card, please contact John Grace. He has volunteered to go to the bank on your behalf and work with them to make sure that they understand that your account is available to have a credit/debit card on it. So we thank John for that, and we encourage people, if they are having problems, to let him know directly. Okay. So as I've gone through and I've fixed all my things, I can get a final receipt. So this is what the first page, the summary page of my receipts looks like. And you can see who made the order. It tells me my order date, and then it shows me all of the different items that I have, as well as my discounted here for whether it's a normal season and various other things. Okay, and you can see that what my balance is. At this point, I do want to say this is page 1 of the receipt. When you get the full receipt, it actually goes in and gives you detailed information under all of these pieces, but this is the summary page, so I wanted you to see that. And I did like the fact that it actually allows us to update our information so you know directly who to contact if there is a question about the receipt, so you know who to contact. Okay. Any questions at this time? I see that.
There are a couple.
Okay.
First of all, most people are real excited
That's
about
great.
Not having to reissue their girls.
Yay.
That's a great feature. Service units. When our permits are issued right now, I just give them a huge list. We want to make sure you understand that now you're going to go in by site and list who's attending, adults and girls.
Yes.
And you're still going to have to be aware of first aiders by site and outdoor trained by site, but you're going to be listing it by site, which is why you may not know 6 months in advance.
And we're going to show you that in the next step here, how you go into each particular piece of your reservation and can update it. So I'll show you that here in a minute.
So the camp coaches will now get a list by site
Yes.
of who is in there.
Correct. Kathy shared, she has her hand up, so I can unmute Kathy here. See if Kathy can. Kathy, can you hear us? Can you talk to us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. My question is, at some point we had heard that there would be a list of facilitators that are available for these camps, so it would be more accessible to troop leaders to find like an archery facilitator. Is there any progress on that?
So yes, we have. We actually discussed that just the other day, and we are making some progress on that. And one of the things that we are going to be doing, we are using the Pixie list to help drive that. What we are going to be doing is teaching our facilitators how to do kind of an alert and do an RMS feed, so that when something is posted onto the Pixie list about archery, it automatically will pop up into their inbox so they can see it. So if they forget to go to the Pixie list and check, it will pop up automatically. We are not able at this point in time to broadcast a list of every single facilitator that we have. They have requested that we not do that. But we want to make we want to enable people to make contact as much as possible. So we will give our facilitators the tools to find who's requesting it, make that a lot easier.
What's the Pixie list?
The Pixie list is our own GSNEO classifieds. So if you haven't checked that out, you can do that via our website, and it's great for a lot of things other than just finding a facilitator. You can post service unit events and invite other troops and neighboring service units to your events. You can trade supplies. You can swap Girl Scout items. So it's a way that a lot of kind of a classifieds trading post for just for Girl Scouts.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand and mute you again and see if there's anybody else that has a question or would like to raise their hand.
There was a question about pathway passes. Can they use pathway passes on troop campus?
Okay, pathway passes cannot be used on troop campouts. We have not had that for quite a while. There is no troop. I don't think we have we ever. I don't remember if we ever had that. I don't think we did. So pathway passes can be used for programs and events, and that will be part of the registration system, yes, but it is not available for troop camping. Okay, so far so good. Okay, if you keep asking those questions, like I said, put your hand up if you have a question, and we'll be happy to unmute you. Okay, now if I can get it to advance. Okay. So after I make my reservation, I can actually go in and kind of see a summary page of my reservation. So here it is. I can see the activities that I signed up with as well as the cabins. What's really cool is I can click on this View Details button.
Before you do that, you can get to that page after you log in at the My Account.
Right up here. So it'll say your name and it'll say My Account. You click on that, and then it'll take you and you'll see you can click on any one of these tabs, Summary, and we're going to go through a few of them here real quick. And so this is the summary. And what's nice about this, it'll show you all your upcoming reservations and registrations. So it'll have all of that information on one nice place to find it. So then you will click on your View Details. Like, let's say we know that we've got additional girls that have now said they're going to come. So we're going to click on View Details. And now I'm in Cotter B, and I'm looking at the details here, and it tells me everything I needed from the date that I started and who made it, what's my order number, all that good stuff. And I can see who I have listed in that cabin already, in that site, but I need to go in and update it. So I am going to click on Update, and when I do it, it takes me back to my participant page, and I can go in and say, okay, I've got 2 adults, 1 Girl Scout. I can add to that. I can increase those numbers. So now I've got 3 adults, and I've got 5 Girl Scouts. I can go in, add those girls, and now I have in this site, you can see Cotter B has additional people that are going, and we can move on from there, okay? You do have to then go through the process and say save it again, and it will show you that. But I am also going to go in and update my archery. So now at this point in time, I do know who's going to come out and do archery. In fact, it's going to be me. I was able to get my certification. So I've got myself down here, and I've got my date, and I'm going to click on my terms, and I can click Continue.
You cannot go forward until you agree to the terms.
Yep, you do have to agree to the terms. And you will have to go through, quote, unquote, the checkout process again after you do that, but it's not going to charge you any additional fees or anything like that. It is just going to allow you to move forward, okay? And then this is your group tab under your My Accounts. So again, if you click on My Accounts, you'll get to this little menu here, and you click on Groups. This is how you can actually manage your girls and your adults. So if you wanted to go in the very first time and type in all your girls and all your adults, you can do that, and you can store them under different troops, so you can have different groups. So if you have multiple troops, you can manage them separately. You can put that all in here so that you can access them and pop them in as you need them. So as girls maybe leave or move out of the area, you can remove them and you can actually add them. All right. You can also put their email addresses in here, so if you wanted to send them an email about the upcoming camp out, you could do that as well. Okay. I'm sorry. Sandra, you have another question, so we're going to go ahead and unmute. Whoops, her hand was up, then it went down. Okay. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, there it is. We're going to go ahead and unmute Sandra.
Yes, hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so a question about the group. Say you're helping other troops in your cluster troops, like they're all going to the same school, they're all related,
okay.
Not related, but they all do a lot of things together. So on the My Groups, you'd have to be a leader or some sort of, how do you put them all together so they're also showing, because I don't think you can have multiple people trying to rent the same cabin. You'd have to have one renting the cabin and then adding all those people. How would you do that?
Correct. Yeah, so it is one of those systems that, like if you're a service unit director, or if you're doing a cluster, a group for your area, you would have to have one person, and you'd probably have to enter all those girls at least once, their first name and last name, the very first time, and then they'd be available after that. So it would have to be under one profile to add them.
Okay. Can you go back to that page where it showed your groups? Because I think there was a troop and a drop-down box beside that or underneath of it.
Correct.
There is.
Right there, my groups. Yeah. So is that the area where you could be associated with other groups and then already put them into that group area?
So this is if I were managing maybe 2 troops or 3 troops as a troop
Right,
leader.
yes.
I had different troops. I could have them listed by their troop and by separate. So if I wanted to, I could actually click on here and say I have troop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are the girls, and then I have troop 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I could have a different set of adults and girls in there. So I could have them all in my groups, but separated by a different troop number, and add them into my, reservations. But if, you'd still have to add them the first time. So
and that's true whether you're a service unit or a troop.
Correct.
So as a troop leader, you would go in and add your girls. If they go to a service unit event, the first time the service unit is going to have to add those girls again, because unfortunately it doesn't pick them up by the troop number. But once they're in, then we'll be able to just add the new ones and take out the ones that are no longer participating.
Okay.
Does that help?
That's too bad. Yes, it does answer my question. Thank you so much.
We are all dreaming of the day when our membership system talks to our reservation and registration system. We're not there yet, but we are still dreaming of that day. Hopefully it'll come soon. Thanks for asking the question. So I'm going to mute you again here. Are there any additional questions or anything we want to ask? I think you've been going through and answering them.
Okay, so we're having a question that said, I'm reserving 90 days out.
Okay.
And, but then the 91st day is my Saturday.
Yep.
So does that mean that I might lose my cabin because I may not be the first one to get there?
And that is a potential problem, yes. So you have a choice. You can either wait to the second day and book both nights together, see what's available for both nights, or you can take a chance and rent the first night and hope the second night is available when you log in at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, or 7 o'clock in the morning, whenever you log in. So yes, that is a bit of a chance. We've had that happen already before when the weekend split the month. So we've kind of had that system before. We are aware of it. We know that it happens. What I can say is this system is being used by a number of Girl Scout councils and Boy Scout councils around the country, and this is the way this system works. We do have to have the rolling 90 days. So we know that they are working with it and functioning with it for years, and that's just the way it's always been for them. So it is one of those things that it's not our favorite piece of it, but we are learning. We're going to have to learn to work around it.
Next question was, can I input my girls before I even go camping?
Definitely, definitely. So yes, once the system is live on June 1st, you can go in, create your login, go in and add your girls, so they will be ready the very first time you're ready to book a camp out.
And I think that's all the questions I have at the moment.
Okay. We're just going to power here through a little bit. Okay. Of course, at any time, if you have any questions that you think about later and want to ask, you can always send questions or feedback to registration@gsneo.org, and either Beth or myself will get back to you about that. So please don't hesitate to send any questions or feedback that you may have. We want to make sure you're comfortable with the system and have your questions answered. Okay, Stephanie, if you have a question, we can come back and answer it. If you want to put your hand up, we can do that. There you go. Okay, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah, I was curious on when you said we can input our girls earlier, is that going into that My Account then to do it there?
Yes. So I'm going to back up here a little bit here. So what you would do is on June 1st, when the system is available, you would go into register.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Or did you hear me?
I did. So the answer definitely is that yes, you can go in and
okay, this happened again. The last time I tried to talk with somebody, I ended up losing sound.
Okay. We can hear you.
And I lost your audio again.
Okay. Yes, we hear you, Stephanie. So I'm going to mute you again just so we can, that works. Okay, so Stephanie, you did ask your question. We did hear you. Basically, the answer is that you can go in and do your growth. You would do it by going in and I'm not sure how, once it's live and you click on register a campsite, if you can click on checkout and that'll let you create your username and password before you do that. That's an interesting question.
People have to find out that answer. And let's talk about, on our website, you're going to see some little tidbit information.
Yeah. Did you know?
Did you know? And we'll include that as part of a did you know.
Yeah.
How do I go in and put in my girls before my camp out?
Mm-hmm.
All right, because we're not real positive on that one yet. We're still learning.
So I know that when you click on reserve a campsite, it'll automatically take you to like the calendar and let you book it that way. But to actually create your login and go into your My Accounts might be a slightly different button that we might have to add. So we will look at that and see what we can do to add that.
That was a very good question.
So that's a good one. And Beth's going to write that one down so we don't forget. Okay? All right. I think I turned somebody's hand down. Somebody had their hand up and I put it down. I thought it was Stephanie's. If you had your hand up and I put it back down, I apologize. Just pop it back up there and we'll unmute you. Not sure who it was, but I'm sorry. Okay. So the next step here is just making sure that we are spreading the news. We want everybody to know that we are making the improvements and that the system is going to look different when you go to log in. So we are going to be offering a few more demos, one on July 28th and then again on September 9th. By that point in time, the registration piece will be up and running and we can show you that as well. So we'll show you what it looks like to go in and maybe book a campsite and then decide you want to do high ropes or low ropes at the same time, or at the same time you're going to be at camp, or to register for something outside of camp. So we can show you both of those. So that will be available on July 28th and September 9th. Again, we will record them so that they will be available. We will set up registration on gsneo.org at this point. So you click on the event calendar on the date, either July 28th or September 9th, and you can register for the webinar, the demo. And if you register for any of our webinars, what's nice, even if you can't participate that evening, you will automatically receive the recording as part of the email response after the webinar is over with. So even if you can't necessarily always sit in and watch the webinar live, we do encourage you to register for the webinar and then watch the recording after the fact. So we encourage that to happen. So spread the word, let your troop leaders know, your fellow troop leaders know. On July 28th and September 9th, we will be going through both a demo of the registration and reservation system. I know that once people start, they take a break over the summer, and when they come back for school, they're going to be very excited about the new system and wanting to see how it functions. So that's why we're going to offer a few more over the summer. Okay. If there are not any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer any additional questions. I can go back and show you any pieces that you would like. But other than that, I am officially finished with the demo. So unless you have questions, we are good to go.
I want to tell you that we're very pleased with these enhancements. I think from the leader and service unit perspective, it's going to be amazing once you get in there and start working with it. And you're going to be really pleased.
Definitely. We were very happy to work with a system that was familiar to Girl Scouts and had been pre-tested and used all over the country, not only with Girl Scouts but Boy Scouts. So it's a great system, and we are very happy with the features that it has. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So there's even more cool features coming soon.
Any other questions? Comments? Concerns? Great. I don't see anything.
All right. Thanks, guys. You have a great evening, and look forward to talking to you soon.